Hello, my name is Avery, and this is my list for my 30 favorite songs of the year. However, if you've been following this channel, things are going to be a little different from the way they were last year. This isn't scripted, so expect vocal fillers, expect mistakes, expect mispronunciations, just really giving it to you raw this year. So without further ado, here's my list. Well, actually, let's pursue some more ado before we continue. I guess the main disclaimer I want to make is that there's thousands and thousands and thousands of songs that come out every year. I can't possibly listen to all of them, but this list, as with my list last year, is just a list of all the songs that I listen to and the ones that I like the most. So now that we're cool, now that we've got that understanding, let's start with the list. At number 30, we have Corso by Tyler, the Creator. Fantastic rap song, fantastic return to form by Tyler, the Creator, and has one of my favorite flexes I've heard in almost any song this year with Catch Me at My Other Crib. Okay. At number 29, we have Sisyphus by Quedeca. Really smart song, really creative metaphor. Love it, love it, love it. Speaking of creative metaphors, at number 28, we have Top Picks for You by Injury Reserve. R.I.P. Grogs, and the idea of using a media feed algorithm to represent the continuing life force of a person beyond death is not only genius, but just really heartfelt and very 21st century as well. Fantastic track. Next, we have Blue World by Blue. Any song that really pays homage and respect to dead homies immediately just kind of gets a nod from me. I just think that's a really heartfelt way to go about creating music, and really I don't know if anyone did that better than Blue this year. So again, Blue World by Blue, check it out. Aha, and at 26, Chicharrones by Arm & Hammer with The Alchemist. Also a really great feature by Quelle Chris on here as well. If you're a fan of underground rap, really suggest it. One of the best anti-authority anthems that I've heard in a while. At number 25, Smiling with No Teeth by Genesis Owusu. Fantastic. Not sure if there's much I can say beyond that for this one. Number 24, Ivy by Richard Dawson and Circle. Was kind of late to this one. Well, then again, this album did come out later in the year, but oh my goodness, that chorus, tendrils edging up, it reminds me of Ozzy. I feel like Ozzy would like this song. So if you like Ozzy, maybe you'll like this song too. At number 23, Love Lovers by Lost Girls. This song reminds me of like Grimes, but like peak form Grimes, like early 2010s Grimes. If you're a fan of that kind of dreamy electropop sound, give this one a listen. Number 22, a black metal bop. We have A Snowless Winter by Panopticon. It's so dreary and intense, but life-affirming at the same time. It just occupies this really strange and harrowing gray space that I just found really fascinating. You knew this one was coming up. At least all my friends knew. I was talking about it all year, but Driver's License, Olivia Rodrigo. A lot of people who I've talked to about this song say it's super overplayed, but I didn't really get any of that annoyance with it just because I don't usually listen to the radio. When I do listen to the radio, I'm usually either listening to KUSC, classical music, or some other jazz station. So being able to return to the song on my own terms and listen to it at my own leisure, I love it. I love it so much. It's just so The word that comes to mind is immersive. I feel like whenever I listen to Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo, even though the sentiments she expressed aren't original at all, I believe her when she sings them. When she talks about it, when she sings about it, like, you would think that Olivia invented breakup sadness by the way she sings on this track. If you haven't already, which you probably have, give it a shot. Pick Up Your Feelings by Jasmine Sullivan. Amazing, amazing track. Really one of the first standout tracks I've ever heard from Jasmine Sullivan, so really looking forward to listening to more of her music in the future as well. Numbers by Weezer. So I was talking to someone about Weezer this year, and I like Weezer. I've always liked Weezer. Got introduced to them on the radio, been listening to them for years now. Really took some time to get more deeply acquainted with their discography this year. But back to the conversation I was mentioning, I told someone, you know, it's a great year to be a Weezer fan. They dropped 2 new albums, one of which I liked a lot more than the other. And their response was, it's never a great time to be a Weezer fan, which is simultaneously true and wrong, and that statement continues to perplex me to this day. Number 18, Oh No by Shoo Shoo, the self-titled track off of their new album. Great song. Shoo Shoo, if you don't know anything about them, they're cute, horrifying, sad, and angry all at the same time. And I feel like that's really strongly embodied here on this new track. Definitely my favorite off the new album. Really love it. Man, I've been waiting to talk about this one for a minute, but we've got Creeping Through the Woods by Cemetery. You know, Mr. Cemetery, he's just trying to bring it back to more simpler times. You know, back when a man could just be thugging and creeping through the woods, you know, just by his lonesome. You know, just walking through the woods, listening to some bass-boosted beats. So if that sounds interesting to you, give it a shot. Although I guess I should preface it with a warning as well. I'm someone who kind of prides himself on listening to like really loud and out there kind of music, but even I found this song and a lot of songs off the album that this song comes from really challenging. So fair word of warning. Okay. Speaking of loud, we have Days Like These by Low. A song for the times. Just when you think things couldn't get any worse, life has a way of surprising you. And I feel like that sense of defeat, dread, and almost bitter optimism and simultaneously pessimism as well really shines on this track. And then the chorus, where you just are exposed to these blasts of noise that come out of nowhere. Definitely one of the biggest, I guess, shock value moments in music, but not shock value for the sake of shock value. It's just a great part of the song to begin with. Halfway through the list, next up, we have Scratch Card Lanyard by Dry Cleaning. The guitars on this song are so good, so mathy, so complex, and so very British. If you like the guitar tones when you listen to Susie and the Banshees, Fleetwood Mac, or Echo and the Bunnymen, give this one a listen. And also the kind of deadpan spoken word vocals with the nonsensical lyrics. It's like listening to a modern day Slint with a female vocalist, and Slint being one of the coolest bands of all time. It just makes me really excited to return to this one for lots of listens in the years to come. Great song, Scratch Card Lanyard. A song that took a while to grow on me, but have come to really deeply appreciate. Turning Wheel by Spelling, off of Spelling's new album, The Turning Wheel. I mean, just the cries for peace and love are just so... They cut. The song cuts deep. If you're into kind of that lovey-dovey sentimental stuff, not just with another person, but for the world itself and trying to see beauty in the world at all costs, this might just be the song for you. Next up, we've got Paprika by Japanese Breakfast. Shout out Michelle Zauner. If you haven't read her book, Crying in H Mart, which I haven't, but I plan to, I'm going to plug that book as well. Because if it's as good as this song is, and the album that's attached to, expect to be floored. I'll just leave it at that. Number 12, the instrumental track from Black Country New Roads' debut album, For the First Time. So, this is the opening track off their album, but it is also my favorite track off of the album. Because with this track, it's so dancey and in your face and just dynamic and constantly shifting as you go from minute to minute. And then there's just this kind of like jazz explosion that takes place at the end of the track, which is just one of the most awesome, mind-melting things I've heard all year. Please give it a shot. Okay, next up at number 11, we have Broken Ladder by Lil Ugly Mane. So this song comes on the later end of his new album, Volcanic Bird Enemy and the Voice Concerned. And I don't know, man. This one's just a vibe. I mean, it's got kind of like that sad, indifferent, but also kind of electronic vibe that is really difficult to put into words. So I'll just say it's number 11 for a reason. It's great. If you listen to it once, you'll probably listen to it again. Top 10! We made it! Woo! Number 10, Are You With That by Vince Staples. I really like Vince Staples, but I love this song. I mean, even by Vince Staples standards, like he really, in my opinion, came through hard on this track. And not even like energy wise, like it is kind of one of his more vocally laid back tracks, but thematically speaking and lyrically speaking, I think it's one of his most ambitious songs. Like it's Vince Staples without a filter. What he cares about and what he stands for. Are You With That? This next song might come as kind of a surprise, not only just because the artist, but the song I chose, given that it's less than a minute long. But Bezos Number One by Bo Burnham from his new comedy special, Inside, is I don't want to say it's the funniest, but man, it's up there. There's like one other song that comes to mind that might be funnier than this song, but I laugh out loud every single time I hear this track. Number 8, You Lose by Magdalena Bay. It is an electropop / kind of rock song. It's off their debut album, Mercurial World, and it's so gosh darn good. It's the first album. Why are they this good? 7, Hazard Duty Pay by JPEG Mafia. This song was really hard to pick because JPEG Mafia is not only a really good artist, but he's also very prolific and dropped many, many songs this year that all could have taken this place. So I think on my Spotify Wrapped this year, the debut song Trust was my number 1 song of the year. It was a song I listened to the most off Spotify. But at the same time, he also dropped an EP back earlier this year, EP number 2, where he has this song, This One's For Us. I think that's it. It might be that one or Last Dance, but basically the one where he calls out music industry journalists for all the horrible stuff that they've done within the industry and just kind of tying it back to his own realness as an independent musician. But enough about those great tracks, which you should give a listen. Hazard Duty Pay is amazing. The bass line that pops in here is so just ear-pleasing and satisfying. And then the lyrics, too, where floated right through the pandemic, no limits. 1 out of 3 feel like 3 when I'm in it. I'm gonna stop there. Hey Creeper, or Hey Creepers by Black Puss. This is from Brian Chippendale's solo act. Brian Chippendale, you might know him as the drummer from Lightning Bolt, but he did this song off of his new album that dropped this year called Live in Minecraft, and he literally performed this song live in Minecraft. And it's so just, it's huge. This song is gigantic. I mean, from the drums and those weird vocal synths that are perpetually indecipherable. And I don't know, it's, even though it's kind of like a noisy type of rock song, it's so jazz. Like, this is ambient, this is abstract, this is some really just out there next level stuff. Chippendale, you've done it again. Jeez. Number 5, not really a traditional song. I guess you could call it more of a theme, but intensely satisfying nonetheless, is Unity by Kelly Lee Owens. This is actually the theme music for the Women's World Cup that's coming up, I believe, next year, or yeah, next year. I told you this video would be full of mistakes. Don't judge me. But back to this song. I remember reading somewhere on the internet that Kelly described the commissioning for this song and being told the kind of atmosphere and the vibe to establish by the people who wanted this song made. And the word epic came up a lot in that conversation, apparently. And it shows here, because this song just, like the title suggests, it just sounds like the world coming together for something bigger than itself. It sounds like people putting their differences aside for the sake of the greater good. And again, all expressed in a lyricless, like, I don't know, 40-second, minute, maybe minute 20 song. It's great. Electronic Song of the Year, bar none. Number 4, sad song. This song made me cry. Mama Was a Dope Fiend by Bruiser Wolf. So this is the closing track off of the album Dope Fiend Stupid by Bruiser Wolf off of Bruiser Brigade Records. Shout out everyone attached there. Shout out Danny Brown. And the whole album's so funny. Like, I'm going to talk about it more in my Albums of the Year video, but he pretty much raps in stand-up. And yeah, he talks about some stuff that's kind of sad, dark, dreary. And especially this song, Mama Was a Dope Fiend, talking about the inability to trust women because of his own bad relationships with his mother and not being able to kind of get on his own 2 feet because of her own shortcomings and how that's kind of crippled him in life. But again, he's still rapping in that stand-up comedy form, and it just makes it sadder. It's like that friend that, you know, is trying to open up about his feelings and about what's troubling him, but doesn't really know how. And I don't know. It caused a lot of self-reflection. It caused a lot of inner monologues. This song's kind of stayed with me. So, takeaway: if you are lucky enough to have a loving mother in your life, let her know how much you care about her, and go ahead and give her an extra big hug next time you see her. Number 3, Breast Milk by the Koreatown Oddity. When I talked about funniest songs of the year and the song that Bezos won could potentially be tied with, I was talking about this song because it's so silly. It's so stupid, but at the same time, it's very wholesome. I mean, on its face, it's about this strange rapper and how he drinks milk. But at the same time, thematically, it's also a song about being a loving husband and being a great dad and taking care of the people who are important to you in life. And while being vegan at the same time, shout out veganism. So yeah, for that reason alone, for appealing to my own kind of biases and values, and for just being an insanely funny track, number 3 song of the year, Breast Milk by the Koreatown Oddity. Number 2, getting down to the nitty gritty. We've got Many Hands by Lingua Ignota. This song's terrifying. This is horror. Ow. I'm so sorry that happened. Many Hands by Lingua Ignota. I guess if I'm going to talk about the song instrumentally, it's got the most out-of-tune guitars I've ever heard on any recorded song ever. And it just fits like a jigsaw puzzle over these horrible lyrics and these church bells that just ring so deafeningly loud in your ears as she's going through the chorus. And I'm not going to repeat the lyrics here, but again, if you're into music, so there's that old quote, you know, good art makes people uncomfortable. If you're one of those people and you're seeking art that makes you uncomfortable, yeah, give this one a listen. Ask your parents first, though. Whoa, we're here. My number one song of the year. It's Me, Me, Me by 100 Gex. So, I'm not the biggest 100 Gex fan in the world, but I really liked their last album, their debut album, 1000 Gex. And that album was really weird, really challenging, really strange, but super fun at the same time. Like, more than everything else I just said, fun is the first thing that comes to mind. It's a very fun song. And knowing that they were going to continue with this numbers theme for a while, they'd go from 100 Gex to 1000 Gex to 10,000 Gex for their new album next year. It made me think, with my mathematically inclined mind, well, if they're going to do something more out there and bizarre than the stuff that showed up on 1000 Gex, I'm intensely curious on what that would sound like, because that sounds massive. And they did not disappoint. Me, 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 listen to it in a car. Listen to it in a closed space on a stereo and just be blown away by how over-the-top, bizarre, bouncy, zany, and fun this track is. You'll never know, no, anything about me, 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 me. I'll stop there. So, woohoo, that's it. I think I did this in one take. Don't know how much editing I'm going to do, but if this is the end of the video, I thank you for watching. I really appreciate your company. And hey, here's to a really prosperous, safe, and loving 2022. Wishing the best for everyone. God bless. Much love.